Someone was standing on the road. It happened a little after 1:30 a.m. I remember the time clearly because I had just checked my phone, hoping to see a message that would give me a reason to stay awake. There was none. The highway was empty, no cars, no lights, just my headlights cutting through the darkness. I had been driving for almost 4 hours, trying to make it home before sunrise. The radio kept losing signal, switching between static and distant voices that never finished their sentences. Eventually, I turned it off. The silence felt safer. That's when I saw him. At first, I thought it was a sign, then maybe a broken reflector. But as I got closer, I realized it was a person. He was standing in the middle of the road, not waving, not moving, just standing there. I slowed down instinctively. My heart started beating faster, the way it does when something feels wrong but you can't explain why. He was tall, too still, wearing dark clothes that blended into the night. I flashed my headlights. He didn't react. That's when I noticed something that made my stomach drop. He was facing away from me, standing in the road, in the middle of nowhere, at 1:30 in the morning. I rolled down my window just a little and shouted, asking if he was okay. No answer. As my car crawled closer, he did something strange. He tilted his head, not toward me, but upward, like he was listening to something above him. I stopped the car completely. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to turn around, to reverse, to do anything except get closer. But the road behind me stretched into darkness, and the thought of backing up blindly felt just as terrifying. Then he moved, slowly. He turned his head toward my car. I couldn't see his face. My headlights didn't reflect off his eyes. They didn't reflect off anything. It was like his face absorbed the light. I slammed the door locks without thinking. That's when he took a step forward, then another, not rushing, not threatening, just approaching. I pressed the horn. The sound echoed down the empty highway, loud and desperate. He stopped. For a moment, I thought that was it, that maybe he was just some lost traveler, some poor guy who needed help. Then he smiled. I know he smiled because I saw his teeth, white, too white, but still his eyes were missing. I hit the gas. The car jerked forward, swerving around him. As I passed, I glanced in my side mirror. He was still standing there, watching, or at least facing the direction where I had been. I didn't slow down again. I didn't stop for gas. I didn't look back. About 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. No signal, no service, but a notification still came through. It wasn't a message. It was a location alert. It said, "Someone has shared their location with you." The map loaded slowly. A single dot appeared, right behind my car, matching my speed. I pulled over at the first lit gas station I saw and sat there until sunrise, shaking, refreshing the map until the dot finally disappeared. I never drove that highway again, and sometimes late at night, when I'm alone. My phone lights up, no notification, no sound, just the screen turning on by itself. Story number 2. The Apartment Above. It was a rainy Thursday night when I moved into my new apartment. I had just graduated college, and this was my first place alone. The building was old, 3 stories, creaking in every wind gust, but the rent was cheap, and I didn't care much for aesthetics. I just wanted somewhere quiet. The first few nights were normal, just the typical settling sounds, pipes clanging, wind rattling the windows, footsteps in the hallway. Nothing I couldn't ignore. But then I noticed it, a rhythmic tapping, like someone was lightly drumming their fingers on the floor above me. At first, I thought it was the upstairs neighbor, just walking around. But then I realized there was no one above me. My apartment was on the top floor. I checked the building layout. No apartments above mine. Empty attic. Nothing. I tried to ignore it, thinking maybe it was the pipes. But the tapping always came at exactly 2:17 a.m. I started keeping a journal, writing down each night. 2:17 a.m. every night. No variation, no explanation. The third night, I woke to a cold breeze across my face. My windows were closed. I froze. That's when I heard a voice, soft, almost whispering. "I see you." I sat up, heart pounding. No one was there. My door was locked. My cat, who always slept on my bed, was nowhere to be seen. The tapping continued. Slow now, deliberate, like someone walking across my ceiling. I grabbed my phone, ready to call the police, but the moment I unlocked it, the screen lit up with a message I had never received before. "Don't look up." I laughed nervously, trying to convince myself it was a prank. Maybe a hacker, maybe someone had access to my Wi-Fi. But then the lights flickered, and the tapping stopped. I waited, staring at the ceiling. Silence. Too silent. I convinced myself it was over and went back to sleep. The next morning, I noticed something strange. Tiny footprints on the floor in my living room. Not my shoes, not my cat. Small, bare, and wet, leading from the kitchen toward the bedroom. They disappeared at the door, as if whoever made them vanished into thin air. I didn't sleep that night. I kept the lights on, the TV loud, anything to distract me from the creeping dread above. The following week, I found scratches on my ceiling, faint but deep enough to catch the light. They weren't uniform. They curved like claws raking across wood. Then came the whispers. Every night, faint, unintelligible murmurs, sometimes just syllables, sometimes my name. Emily? Emily? I don't know why it said my name. I didn't know anyone named Emily. I called the landlord. He said the building had been empty for months, the top floor condemned after a fire years ago. "No one should be up there," he said. "Ever." I tried to move, but my lease was binding. I started documenting everything, recording audio each night. On the fifth night, I heard movement inside my bedroom. The tapping wasn't above anymore. It was beneath me, directly beneath my bed. I didn't look. I couldn't. But I swear I felt breath, hot, rancid breath, on my neck. The next morning I found messages scratched into my floorboards, not with a pen. Real scratches, deep enough to feel under my fingers. I'm here. I left that night. I didn't pack, didn't take anything, just left the building. I don't know what it was, but I've never been back. Sometimes late at night, when it rains, I swear I can hear the tapping again, somewhere far away, but the rhythm is unmistakable. 2:17 a.m., and I can't stop thinking. Maybe it's waiting for me. Story number 3, The Reflection in the Mirror. It started the night I was alone in my apartment. I had been working late, and by the time I got home, it was past midnight. I didn't usually look into mirrors at night. Something about them in the dark always felt off. But that night, I had no choice. I went into the bathroom to wash my face, tired from staring at a computer screen for hours. The mirror reflected the dim yellow light above the sink. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Then I noticed it. My reflection didn't move with me. I blinked twice, leaned closer, and the reflection smiled, a slow, crooked smile, one I hadn't made. I froze. My own lips were pressed together, terrified, but the reflection grinned wider. Its eyes, they weren't mine. They were darker, hollow, almost empty. I stepped back, heart racing. I tried to convince myself it was a trick of the light, maybe fatigue, but the smile didn't fade. Then it spoke, not aloud, but somehow I heard it in my mind. I see you. I stumbled out of the bathroom, but every time I passed another reflective surface, a window, a picture frame, even the polished floor, I saw it, watching, waiting, mimicking, but wrong. I tried to leave the apartment, to escape the feeling, but my keys were gone. My bag was gone. Nothing was where I left it. Panic gripped me. I ran back to the bathroom, desperate to confront it, to turn on every light. But when I looked in the mirror again, it wasn't smiling. It was grinning from the side, leaning toward me, stretching impossibly across the frame. And then it whispered again, soon. I bolted from the apartment that night, not looking back. I stayed at a friend's place, but every reflective surface there seemed to flicker, showing shadows that weren't real. Weeks later, I bought a new apartment. I removed every mirror I could, but every once in a while, late at night, I catch a flicker in the corner of my eye, a shadow moving where it shouldn't. I never looked into a mirror alone again, and sometimes when the lights are out and the house is quiet, I swear I hear the faintest laughter, soft and cruel, coming from the reflection I no longer have. Every shadow has a story, and there are many more waiting for you. Subscribe to Midnight Whispers before it finds you alone.